Studienkolleg Bochum. In this lecture, you learn everything what you need to know about Studienkolleg Bochum, its application process, how to get invited to the entry test, and how to ace the entry test. We start with an overview where we talk about application deadlines, application fee, what documents you need to send in, about the German requirement of Studienkolleg Bochum, and then we move on to the entry test of Studienkolleg Bochum, its dates, and how you can prepare yourself for them. After we have covered the overview part, we move on together to the application part, where we really go through every field of the application form together, fill it in so that you are sure that everything is perfect. You send your application in to the Studienkolleg Bochum and you get your invitation letter. Application deadlines. Let's talk first about the study periods and semesters at the University of Bochum and Studienkolleg Bochum, and then you understand the application deadlines. The winter intake, the main intake of the university, starts in August, and the summer intake happens in January. The entry tests also happen in these months. That means that if you have the entry test in August, you can start in August, and if you have the entry test in January, you can start in January. Now let's talk about the application deadline. If you want to enter the Studienkolleg Bochum in winter semester, that means in August, you need to have applied latest by 15th May of the same year. Now, if you want to study in January, start your Studienkolleg in January, you should have applied latest by the 15th of October the previous year. Usually there is some 3 months and a half of gap between the deadline of application and the date of the start of your semester. Application fee. The application fee at Studienkolleg Bochum is very interesting, because it's €0, at least as of now. Now it's March 2021. You don't have to pay any application fee there. That's amazing. What are the required documents for the application? In order to apply for Studienkolleg Bochum, firstly, you apply directly to the Studienkolleg, not to any partner university or anything. You need to send your documents directly to Studienkolleg Bochum, and those are an application form, filled and signed. We will get there and I will tell you exactly how to fill the application form. Then you need to have a certified copy of your secondary education certificates. If translation is needed, then they should be translated. Then you need to have your German language certificate and a CV. Once you have these, you send them to Studienkolleg Bochum, no application fee, and you get your application process sorted. Provided that you send your application before the deadlines that I mentioned. The minimum German requirement for getting an invitation to the Studienkolleg Bochum is B1. This is wonderful, isn't it? Because a lot of Studienkollegs usually want a B2 from you, but this one accepts the B1 certificate. Now, in order to get accepted to the Studienkolleg, you need to take the test and to compete. That means that B1 is really the bare minimum. You need to do much better than that, but the B1 certificate is enough at the application time. And considering that Studienkolleg Bochum only offers T-Kurs, the entry test is pretty straightforward. You will have a mathematics part and a German part. You need to prepare yourself for these two parts, and there are sample questions on their website and also available in the download section of this course. Let's take a look at the application process together. All right, please go to studienkolleg-bochum.de. This is the website of Studienkolleg Bochum, www.studienkolleg-bochum.de, and you can actually go through the site in English or in German. I stick to English. Under the menu preparatory course, the second option is admission and application. This can change obviously in the near future, but the whole concept remains the same. Please click on admission and application. You face a bunch of text, most of which you already know, and oh my god, the design of this website is just so old. This Studienkolleg is actually over 50 years old, so let's bear with that. They have the Antrag auf Zulassung, which means the application for admission here. It's a PDF basically. You click on it and you see the application form. I could possibly print this form and fill it out with a pen, but I rather type in the form and then print it and sign it. In order to type there, my browser does not allow me to do it right here, so I actually download this. If in your case it's the same, please download that. I would go for my desktop. Save. Okay, now this form is saved on my desktop. Here you go, I open it. Okay, so this is basically the Antrag auf Zulassung zum Studienkolleg für ausländische Studierende in Bochum. Application for admission for the international students in Bochum, all right? We start with last name here. It says Name, that is last name, in my case Mani. The first name is underneath. Please type in your first name. As said, you can also print this form and type it in and write it in with your pen, whatever you want. I prefer this way. Geburtsname bei verheirateten Bewerbern. If you are married and because of your marriage your last name has changed and you have had your own last name before marriage, please put your old last name here. Otherwise, let's proceed. Gender, in my case, männlich, which means male and female, right? Geburtsdaten, you have the Tag, Monat, Jahr, day, month, year. So let's go with, in my case, 9th. They say slash. Okay, we use slash 9th, 1985. Geburtsort und Stadt. Ort means the city in which I was born, and Stadt means the country. The city in English is Tehran, and in German is Teheran. It's good for you to know the name of your city and your country with German pronunciation in general. I mean, nothing happens here if you just put the English version, but it's good for you. It's something that you will be using very often in the future. So I did that, Tehran, Iran. Staatsangehörigkeit means nationality. In my case, that is, somehow I cannot click there. Okay, I click here, German. And then I have a second nationality, and that is Iran. If you also have a second nationality, put here, otherwise only the only nationality you have. The address section, please make sure you put an address where actually the post can find that address and bring you your admission documents. You know, sometimes you get your admissions per email, but very often you also get them really on a paper per post. So if your home address is not something that you're sure that the post can really find its way to, maybe you have relatives, family members, friends who are living in Germany or Europe, or, you know, like somewhere where the streets are really well ordered and post gets there. Believe me, there are some countries and cities, including my own country, where posts get lost very often. What is a CO? That is also something important for you to know. CO is basically when your name, the name that you have provided here, right, is not on the post box at this address. So it's your aunt's address. Your aunt is called Miss Smith, and Smith, and she's going to receive it and open this for you. So you should put her name there so that basically it's clear which post box this envelope should be dropped at, basically. Otherwise, if your name is on the box, you don't need to put that. In my case, I put my business address there. Akazienstraße 3A. Then we have the zip code and the city. So in my case, Berlin, and the country, Stadt, is Germany, or I should actually say Deutschland in German. The email address, info@stuoli.com, will be my email address. You can put your email address here, obviously, not ours. Ausbildung an Schulen und Universitäten im Heimatland. Okay, this gets interesting here. You need to put your educational background here, what you have done at high school in your country. That's basically the Sekundarschule or secondary school. Is that what you have done, which enables you to go to university in your home country, right? So it's usually the last 2, 3, or 4 years of your education, your secondary education. Okay, in my case, it has been from 2002 to 2004, basically. Here you write where, in which country you did your secondary education, and that's it. Staat, in dem das Zeugnis ausgestellt wurde. The country in which the document was basically issued. And in my case, it's Iran. Teilnahme an einer Hochschulaufnahmeprüfung außerhalb Deutschlands. Have you taken part in a university entrance exam outside Germany? So basically in your home country or where you lived when you finished your secondary education. Do you have a kind of university entrance exam? We have that in Iran. We have that in Colombia, I know of. We have that in China, I know of. We have that in India, I know of. But you should know it for yourself. If you have had something like that, you can say if you have taken part in that or not. In my case, yes, I have done that. When was that? It was 2004. And wo? Yes, in my home country, Iran. So, I mean, I'm sorry. In the end, this information is already conveyed with your documents, right? So you are providing documents afterwards to the university, so they will be seeing this. It's important to put this information and to have them sort of consistent with the documents that you hand in. All right, Studium an einer Hochschule, einer Universität, einem College außerhalb Deutschlands. It's very important, this question. If you answer yes, that means that you might even not be eligible for Studienkolleg. You might need to directly go to university, because very often those with an indirect university entrance qualification, indirect HZB, which we have already discussed, they can actually go directly to university if they have 1 year of education in that discipline or that direction that they want to study at a university in their home country. And if you say yes here, so basically you need to then provide those documents. Make sure that if you say yes, you provide those documents. I say no, like if I was coming from Iran in 2004, I would have said no, I haven't gone to university. And again here it says wenn ja von bis. If the answer is yes, please say since when until when, for which period you went to the university, and also then name that university here and also in which city and country it is, so that they can really spot which city and country you have gone to university. Here, Studienfach, in which discipline you have studied, and how many semesters. As said, if you have successfully finished at least 2 semesters, let's say in electrical engineering, and now you want to do T-Kurs, you are not allowed to, because they say, come on, you have done 1 year of university in something which is T-Kurs, related to T-Kurs in your home country, so you have direct admission now. You don't need to go to Studienkolleg at all. So you need to understand your HZB as we have discussed and make sure that you know what you are doing. So in this case, of course, you need to be transparent, and you need to answer everything, let's say, honestly. But it's important that if you say yes, it's also mentioned in your, you also provide a document, let's say, in the later stage that you send your documents per envelope. Okay, Sprachkurse und Studienvorbereitung. Here, you need to fill out what kind of Deutschkurs, German course you have passed. Erfolgreiche Teilnahme an Deutschkursen mit Abschlusszeugnis. If you need to have at least B1, right? We have discussed that. Without a B1, you don't get admission to Studienkolleg Bochum. So if you have a B1 or B2 or C1, please say von bis, like when you learned that, and in which institute, state, or country have you done that. Okay, I say B1, I did from May 2004 to, let's, instead of typing in as May, let's just say 5th 2004 to 12th 2004. And that's already good. I mean, it's a little bit big, but it's all right. And here we say Institute, Goethe Institute, Tehran, Iran, for example, right? You can put your information there, but in the end, this should be comply with the documents that you actually hand in. And if you don't just type anything or whatever, it still doesn't matter. What matters the most is the documents that you give, and not only this stuff what you're typing here. But if you have B1, B2, or C1, just type how long you have learned that, and if in which institute you have learned that. Okay. Here is asked if you have already attended another Studienkolleg. Have you already gotten admission to a Studienkolleg? If yes, when? Like, were you ever invited to an entry test to a Studienkolleg, or a university told you you can go to this and that Studienkolleg? You can say yes, it was like 2 months ago, Studienkolleg FU Berlin or Studienkolleg München, or you can also say no, I haven't been actually invited to any other Studienkolleg yet. Teilnahme an einer Aufnahmeprüfung zu einem Studienkolleg. Have you already attended an entry test for Studienkolleg? Yeah, well, you can say yes or no, doesn't matter. You can say yes, I have been, if you have really attended an entry test, or no for those who have not attended an entry test. If you have attended an entry test already, please say wie oft, how often, and when was that and where was that, right? Teilnahme an einem studienvorbereitenden Kurs an einem Studienkolleg. Have you already attended the Studienkolleg period elsewhere? You have already been Studienkolleg applicant and already started your course elsewhere. If it has been a yes, please say when, otherwise we go for no. Teilnahme an einer Abschlussprüfung des Studienkollegs, Feststellungsprüfung, as we know, FSP. It asks, have you ever attended an FSP exam? Which, if you say yes, they say, come on, you cannot do the Studienkolleg again. Why are you applying? So basically the answer is very clear, no. Unless you have really done a Studienkolleg and you have taken the FSP, and then you need to tell them, but basically you'll be rejected based on that answer. All right. Studienziel in Deutschland, what is your goal? What do you want to study? What made you think that you need to study T-Kurs? Is it Elektrotechnik? Or is it more physics? Or whatever is it? If you put medicine here, they will reject you. They say, come on, medicine is not T-Kurs, it's M-Course, and we don't have that. So you need to put a course, put a discipline here which relates to T-Kurs. Even something like architecture should probably work. That's pretty much it. You need to put one at least, so I will go with Elektrotechnik here. Universität Hochschule, where do you want to study that? I would say Ruhr-Universität Bochum. That's basically the same university that offers this Studienkolleg. Why not? But doesn't mean that you have to go to this university. You just keep it as an option. But it's good to mention this, a university in North Rhine-Westphalia, because if you mention a university outside North Rhine-Westphalia, they might tell you, okay, why do you want to come to us for Studienkolleg? Go to that university of your choice, because we are serving universities in North Rhine-Westphalia. Angeschriebter Abschluss, what is your goal degree? Okay, bachelor's or master's it is. All right, bachelor's first, bachelor studium. The bachelor Abschluss, let's just be very exact, bachelor Abschluss. Abschluss means degree, right? All right. Aufenthalt in Deutschland, geplante Einreisetermin, when do you want to come to Germany? Okay, what if you are already here, but we say, no, you're not here. You want to start your studies in winter semester, which is in August, so you come beginning of August. But that doesn't make sense because you need to attend the entry test. You need to know when the entry test is. Usually it's a few weeks before these dates, so let's go for 1st 6, 2021. Or if you have already been living in Germany, you write since when you are living in Germany. I mean, these dates, and I don't think anybody takes a look at this, but okay, let's just write the date that you want to come to Germany or since when you're already living here. Here, you need to sign really with a pen. You need to print out this document and sign it with a pen and guarantee that the information is correct here. It's always the case with any paperwork in Germany. And you need to put the name of the city where you are right now and the date. So I would say, in my case, it is Berlin. Okay, sorry, slash, not comma, and datum. The date today is 26/3, 2021. There you go. And then the Unterschrift is basically my signature, which I would rather print this document and sign it here and put it in the envelope. But if you go further, we are now basically done with the with filling the application form. First of all, bravo, well done that you have been with me up till here. Let's shortly go through the rest of the process. We are on page 3, where it says that these documents den vollständigen ausgefüllten Antrag mit den erforderlichen Unterlagen schicken Sie an. Okay, here is the address where you need to send your documents to. So this will be on the envelope where you send the documents to. And you need to have Abschlusszeugnis der Sekundarschule, your secondary school certificate. That is basically the certificate for finishing your high school, your secondary education, and this needs to be in original and with translation. If the document is not in English, German, or French, it is mentioned actually a bit further down. English, German, or French is all right. If the original language is anything else, please also have a beglaubigte Übersetzung, certified translation. We have already talked about certification of documents and translations, so the documents that you need to send to Bochum are not copies, are not scanned documents, they are really originally certified documents. Please, if you don't know what I mean, go back to the document preparation section. In the certification section, we have described that. Bescheinigung über die Teilnahme an einer Hochschulaufnahmeprüfung, falls zutreffend. If it's the case for you, if you have attended a Hochschulaufnahmeprüfung, which you mentioned up there in the form, if you said, yes, I have attended, then you need to prove it, that what has been this exam and what was your ranking or your score whatsoever. So if you have said up there yes, and if your country you have done that, please also put that certification here. Bescheinigung über den Erfolg, Nicht-Erfolg eines Studiums. Please also, if you have said that you have falls zutreffen again, if you have said that you have studied at a university in your home country or elsewhere outside Germany here, you need to really show that, prove that. Okay, I have studied 1 semester, 2 semesters, I have finished this whole studies at the university or not, whatever it is. It needs to be that. For most of you, it's not the case. You have probably not started any studies at a university, so this is not zutreffend, nicht zutreffend. All right, the Nachweis über Deutschkenntnisse, the B1 certificate. Yes, you need to have that. It's usually from Goethe-Institut or TELK B1 Zertifikat or ÖSD Zertifikat. It's one of these three usually. Usually you don't go for, I don't know, exotic transcripts. If you want to go for exotic ones, please contact Studienkolleg first and ask them if it's allowed. Otherwise, stick to one of these three that I mentioned, Goethe, TELK or ÖSD. Tabularische Lebenslauf. The CV, basically, we have already talked about the CV in the document preparation section. You need to have your lückenlose Lebenslauf, basically a CV without much of a time gap in it, where you just mention what you have done so far, since when, up till when you were where, and what you did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the document preparation section. And if you have changed your name, your last name by Namensänderung, Heiratsurkunde und Pass, basically your marriage certificate and your passport copy need to be there so that they see, all right, your last name has been changed. Here are a few hints. Please fill out the application completely. We already did up there. Tragen Sie die Information deutlich in Druckschrift ein. Okay, you need to use block text, basically, just so that everybody can read your handwriting. If you are writing per hand, if you are typing, then it's already perfect. Legen Sie alle erforderlichen Unterlagen bei. All the documents that have been asked for should be already in the envelope when you apply. Schicken Sie keine Originale, sondern nur amtliche beglaubigte Kopien. Please do not send your original documents. Of course, don't send your original transcript and certificate from your university, because then you will not have that ever, and you don't want that. We have already talked about it. You translate if necessary, and basically you do the true copy, beglaubigte Kopie of that, most probably at the German embassy in your home country, and then you have enough certified copies of your documents to send one of them to Studienkolleg Bochum. Unterlagen, die nicht in Deutsch, Englisch oder Französisch verfasst sind, müssen von einem vereidigten Übersetzer in die deutsche Sprache übersetzt sein. Okay, that's already what I mentioned up there. If your documents are not in German, English, or French, you need to basically have them translated by a basically official translator in your home country or in Germany. We have talked already about notary, about Vereidigung and all this stuff, so I'm not gonna talk about that again here. Your documents need to be certified. Punkt. Reichen Sie Ihren Antrag spätestens bis zum 15. Mai ein, wenn Sie im folgenden Wintersemester mit der Studienvorbereitung beginnen wollen. Aufnahmeprüfung und Kursbeginn im August. Reichen Sie den Antrag spätestens bis zum 15. Oktober, wenn Sie im folgenden Sommersemester mit der Studienvorbereitung beginnen wollen. Aufnahmeprüfung und Kursbeginn im Januar. Okay, so if you want to start in January, you need to send your documents until 15th October latest. 15th October is the arrival date, not when you sent the post. Please note that. And also, if you want to start in August, in the winter semester, you need to send your documents until 15th May. That means until 15th May, your documents should have arrived by Studienkolleg Bochum. All right, here are a bunch of information about how to fill the form up there. We have already taken care of that. I have already read that here. Another point about question 4, which of the disciplines relate to T-Kurs? That is also a good source for you to generally know which courses are T-Kurs. Architektur, Bauingenieurwesen, Civil Engineering, Chemistry, Chemical Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Geology, Geography, IT, Food Technology, Aviation Technology, have Mechanical Engineering, Mathematics, Meteorology, Statistics, Physics, Verfahrenstechnik is, what do we say that in English? I don't have that at the top of my head. I will come back to it. Wirtschaftsinformatik, Economics of IT, Wirtschaftsingenieurwesen, Industrial Engineering, sort of, and things like that. These are the programs which be basic for which you need to study T-Kurs. We have already talked about that, right? But it was interesting to see that list again. Genaue Auskünfte darüber, welche Fächer Sie nach einem T-Kurs studieren können, geben Ihnen die Akademische Ausländeramt der Hochschulen. Please get in touch with the university to which you want to go later on to make sure that the T-Kurs is the right one for you. Okay. Verfahrenstechnik is process engineering. I just remembered that. There you go. Now we have all of those courses covered. And here, the last page, last but not least, is about the Beglaubigung. And as said, we have already talked about Beglaubigung. I have shown you such stamps that German embassy puts down there and basically says that this copy is like its original. With that, if you have gathered these documents and everything, you're all good. You can send your documents in and you get invited to the entry test of Studienkolleg Bochum. So we are getting to the end of this lecture. By now you should have learned how to fill the application form of Studienkolleg Bochum. Make sure that you are within the application period, haven't passed the deadline. Print out the application form that we filled together. Sign it, put the date and the city that you are located at right now. Attach a set of your application documents, certified translations, unless it's in English, German, and French, the original ones, then you don't need the translation, you know that. Apart from that, a certified copy of your language certificate, a B1 certificate, and that's it. You don't need to pay an application fee. You have the address, send it in. Tell us in the notes and Q&A section of the course how you did it, what you did, what were your problems, if you have any questions, and share the good news with us. All the best. See you in the next lecture and have a good day.